Working with references is a very important aspect of organizing the content in Microsoft Word 2007. References is a tab on the toolbar all on its own. Within the ribbon, you will notice Table of Contents, Footnotes, Bibliography, Caption, Index, Table of Authority. These are all independent of each other and each have different uses. I'm going to go through the Caption, Table of Contents, Index, and Bibliography. You will note that footnotes and table of authorities are very similar. I do encourage you to review these on your own, perhaps going into the Microsoft Help menu. Let's start with the caption. You will notice I have a picture in the middle of the screen and I refer to figure 1 in the paragraph below. I am going to highlight my picture, go to Insert Caption, and then simply say OK. Notice figure 1 appears. Now this is a text box, so if I'd like to move it over, I can very easily. Inserting a caption allows us to take a picture and refer to it within a paragraph. When working with documents, very often we also want to insert a table of content. Table of contents work off of headings. You will notice again that anytime I select something, that little mini toolbar appears. Please do not let this worry you as you're going through the movies. When I have introducing the ribbon, it has been defined as a heading. When I go to the Home menu, you will notice that under the styles, there is Heading 1. Heading 1 is a format that is applied to your text. If I go to the pull down, you will also notice that there's Table of Contents 3, Table of Contents 1. These are all different components that can be used on the Table of Contents. A Table of Contents can be based on headings, or they can be based on levels in the Table of Contents. The trick of actually assigning a Table of Content is that each of the items to appear in the table must be formatted the same way. The easiest way is by using Heading 1, 2, 3, 4 or Table of Contents 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, we'll return to References and to the Table of Contents ribbon. I must be in the area of the screen that I'd like the Table of Contents to appear. I will simply go to the Table of Contents pull down, choose my style, and I'm set. If I'd like an additional style or if I'd like to change something, I can always go back to the Table of Contents and insert one manually. This will allow me to choose a different format. Notice here that I will have a line rather than the dots. When I say OK, I will replace the Table of Contents and you'll see it's just a slightly different style. Make sure that you experiment with all of the styles to see which will work for you. Another component in a document is putting in an index. The Table of Contents is at the beginning of your report, manuscript, or book. The index is at the back. In this case, I'm simply going to go to Insert, Index, and say OK. Now notice here that different letters of the alphabet appeared. I have an item that's under F, under O, and under T. If I had something set up under A, I would see that portion of the alphabet appear. Let's go down to our document itself and let's turn on our actual Show Hide tool. Here you will notice that there are certain items that say XE and the ribbon. XE Formatting Mini Toolbars. These items have been selected for the index. So how do we select an item? I am going to return to References and you'll notice there's an area that is called Mark Entry. I'm going to go ahead and just choose the word As. Now I'm simply choosing the word As so that you'll see the letter A will appear. I'm going to mark this entry and to accept it, click the Mark button. When I close, notice that once again As has the insignia behind it. I can again turn off my tools and I can return to my index. Now on the index, under References, I'm going to say Update. When I update, notice how As appeared under A automatically. Every time you change your document, updating the index will ensure that your page numbers are correct. The next component that I'd like to talk about is the bibliography. When working with a bibliography, we normally put it at the very end of the document itself. The bibliography is what's going to cross-reference research sources within your document. Here you'll notice on the bottom is what we refer to as a bibliography. In creating a bibliography, what I must do first is actually create the sources. When I go into Manage Sources, you will notice that there's a master list. These are sources I've already entered. If I go to New, I can now type in the next author. This time, I'm going to just simply type in Melvin Mont. The title is the title of the book, so I'm just going to put in title of book. The city where it was written, I'll put in anywhere, the year, And if you'd like to put the publisher, the volume of the article, please go ahead and do so. Now you'll notice I said it was title of the book, but I had journal article. I can simply go on top and switch it back to book. You will notice that you have a number of different sources that you can work with. When I say OK, it is now part of my list. You'll notice in the current list I can add as many of these as I want to. When I'm adding different components within it, it's going to be applied to this particular document. Every document I go into, I can pick and choose what my sources will be. When I close, I will now, at the end of the document itself, simply go to the bibliography and ask it to be inserted. Notice these two have different styles. Above, you will see the styles. You will need to go into the Help menu and determine what each of these styles are for.